when you're so knowledgeable about something and you're like, bro, this shit's lit, this shit is it. And then the next person just doesn't understand. You're trying to explain it to somebody, but when somebody doesn't understand how monumental it is for you, it's like, fuck, like, how do I get this person to care?
Being able to share the feeling, that's what we all have. Like, everybody perceives things at a different time and place. Like, the way you feel about house and I feel about house and versus everybody else is different because it's within like a time and place. For example, like when you heard this song, you literally probably was thinking of something else and like it didn't register versus this person like, yo, this was exactly what I was feeling right now. I was just about to take, that sip, or I was just about to walk up to that girl and it hit. Boom. I love this fucking song.
This is Sad Boy Radio.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sad Boy Radio. I'm your host, Matt, and today we got a very special guest. Man, he's the co-founder of many of your favorite festivals, Michelada Fest, My House Music Fest, Mas Flow. He's, man, a very experienced DJ. You've been doing this for a long, long time, and a lot of people like to call him the mayor of Pilsen. So go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
What's going on? My name's M-Dok. That's short for Murdoch, but, better known as Marcus. All my people from Pilsen area, South Side. They call me M. Pleasure to be here, man. I'm excited. Chop it up. Let's get to bit.
Sure, I appreciate it. I mean, we've been talking for a minute now, but, now we're going to get into the real deep shit. We're going to get into, the real reason you're here. But I appreciate you coming through, bro. And I want you to touch on, your nickname real quick. The mayor of Pilsen. You grew up in Pilsen. Your mom established roots over in Pilsen. So it definitely is a place that has a lot of sentimental value for you. And you've seen the way that the neighborhood's been changing, right? So talk about the significance of the nickname for you.
My nickname, it's given to me generally through being around all the best things that probably like happen, in Pilsen, and the bad. I mean, born and raised over there, you got 2 blocks apart, and just being a lot of people fighting, gangs and all that, and just being able still to live through all of that and party and show people like, hey, yo, you really can party over here. That's like, basically bringing people, the mayor, you bringing people together. Like, that's point blank, like bringing people together in Pilsen more than anybody else has.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially through the power of like music, events, and even bringing community people who work in Pilsen to that same event, which is a party or a festival. It's bringing people together. That's what we want our leaders to do,
And you've been doing that for such a long time, bro. Just like I mentioned, you've been through so much within the area. You've seen so many changes, and there's changes that have happened that you can control and some that you can't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through it all, these experiences continue to shape you. And you've had many phases throughout your life where they've become who you are. You've taken those qualities from that time of your life and you've either carried it with you, you've dropped some at some point, or you dropped it, picked it back up, and now it still lives within you somewhere, right? I'm gonna go basic right now, right? I took a Drake lyric. I always take Drake lyrics. In 6 p.m. in New York, he says, "Some nights I wish I could go back in life, not to change shit, just to feel a couple things twice." And I like that lyric because I was like, man, that shit's real, because a lot of the times we experience these things and people always think about it like, man, I wish I could have changed that. But I'm a pessimist, so when it comes to like heartbreak or a sad feeling, I'd rather feel that and know that I felt that than be able to go back and change that shit.
Most definitely. Another team that I'm a part is Herbal Notes, shout out to the squad. We say, there's never any mistake, there's only lessons, Everything that you go through, if you are aware of that hardship, you should understand that's a lesson, It's like fire and you get burnt. And not even in like the negative way, it's just you should have learned from that experience, even if it was pleasant or if it was unpleasant. Like, Why are you gonna stick around things that you don't like forever? You know what I'm saying?
It's like they say, insanity is doing the same thing twice after you already fucked up the first time.
Most definitely.
What is one of those hard lessons that you had to learn?
You know, like when they say like kindness is a weakness, you can learn a lot from being kind, but then also too, it's like some people don't change as fast as other people. You know, like you're always gonna. That's always like a person's like fault. Other than that, when creating, and you can't be insane for creativity and doing something in that. That's where some of the best things are birthed. You know, but with people, yeah, that's insanity. Well, I mean, we are all guilty of that. We can see it all around us.
One thing I wanted to hit real quick is, right, your birthday just passed. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you, thank you.
I appreciate you coming right after your birthday, so that's dope. With birthdays comes reflection, right? You grow 1 year older, you start to look back on all the things that have happened throughout your life and the ways that these experiences have impacted you. You've been creative for such a long time. You've done so many different things. You're tall as fuck, so you used to hoop at one point, right?
Still balling.
You still be hooping? You be
Bruh.
dunking on people, bro?
Left hand, right hand, two hand. I was yelling at some youngers in the gym the other day, talking about they don't go hard enough. I'm serious, bro. They don't play 94 feet. They taking breaks. Man, let's play ball.
They only shoot threes now, bro.
Threes are cold, but it's like not everybody could shoot. Realistically, not everybody could shoot.
You be seeing the bogus ass jumpers.
All types of them, bro. Man, it's crazy. Like that's a role playing game, and people get so like out of touch with it, you know. So niggas gotta stick to what they do. Nah, but like yeah, hooping, mad creativity, and doing everything. It's knowledge, bro. You gotta, don't turn it off for nobody.
Here's what I wanted you to do, right? I picked out 4 different things that you've done throughout your life. I want you to reflect on a pivotal moment in each of these phases that have impacted you and who you are today. So the first one we're going to start with is, being a B-boy. What was a pivotal moment that had impacted the way you are today while you were being a B-boy?
You know, B-boying, the actual element of it comes from like a group of like people. You are like pushing yourself to the limit to do these crazy ass dance moves in order to represent yourself against a whole nother crew per se, you know? We used to be in the parties dancing and going crazy, and then we realized like, it was a super like spectacle, like, per se, like everybody per se like wanted to do it. But we still kept it like underground, like how everybody does, keep everything, like how everybody starts everything from the ground up, underground. We started linking with other people, and from doing that, I ventured off into another element, and I ended up doing graffiti from that. And if I wasn't b-boying and meeting all these different breakers and going to these parties and these events with music, I probably wouldn't be sitting right here today, So that pivotal point of just being at parties and just understanding how fun this was, and not because people were like, oh, you're dope, this and that, but because of the options and the things I can do because of like being there, the people that I meet. You really put everything around you. If you're really doing your craft and everything, you put things around you.
It allowed you to grow. It not only allowed your network to grow, but it allowed you to grow from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the best things about being a creative. Once you put yourself into one space, you're not pigeonholed. The only person that pigeonholes you is yourself, because you're the one telling you, I can't do anything other than what I'm already doing, because that's how people view me. But in reality, you see all these artists. You see Kanye, right? I don't want to talk about Kanye too much right now because of all the drama, but Kanye was a producer. He went on to rap. He went on to do fashion. He went on to do all these different things when somebody just told him, you're just a producer. Sit down, do that. So that's one thing, right? Next, we'll go into basketball, right? We just talked about it. You're a hooper. You were hooping since you were little. You were at the parks playing. And in your previous interview with Sabby, you talked about how that had a significant impact on you. So what's a pivotal moment there that shaped you into who you are today?
Say, for example, if you've been hooping or engaged in a sport or a form of like competition or a form of something where you have to like graduate or step up every single like level. There's peers involved, there's coaches involved. There's different tiers of like all these people around you that are trying to get you to be disciplined, or they you like the victories. I mean, you get better so you can, you know, show your craft better. Then thinking about the whole game and like the roles and like how people win championships and how people have dynasties for like consistent years, you start to understand that when you do something like super well, you kind of should stick to that. It's very hard to do everything. It is very like hard to do everything. Even the best players in the league probably never win rings because they try to do too much, you know? My coach gave me that. He's like, you see those people in college, like, yeah, that dude's probably a bum, but he can shoot that corner shot 9 out of 10 times if you put the ball in his hand, and that's what he's getting paid for. If we understood life in the role of like a basketball game and just hung and stuck to like our parts and be patient, like that's kind of you will always get better. Because like LeBron, you know, he just made all-time scorer in the world. Like, he's gonna keep scoring and then he's not gonna be in the league no more. You know, years are gonna pass. Who's gonna step up and then take that mantle? It changes, you know? So it's like, basketball is dope, bro. It's dope. Like, even today, like I was saying, I was busting these kids. You know, I was whooping them at the Y, like, and I'm just like, this is it? Like, I'm like, man, like, that means that kids are not even holding basketball that crazy anymore. Like, it's not even a thing. It's like, their sport has changed.
That's something that I saw a shift in, you know, while I was growing up. It's crazy because you start to see the things that matter in people's life change. And it's also with society, but also the people that you're around, right? That's why people start to go their separate ways, because this person starts to value making money. This person still values making memories, and this person values being in a certain lifestyle. And with that being said, it reflects in society, right? You got these hustlers, you got these businessmen, and you got this person that's content with making enough to live and creating something bigger than themselves, being maybe a family. With basketball, right? It teaches you a lot of different lessons in life, especially when you have the right team around you. Something I love that you said before was you need a team to be able to continue to grow. And being an athlete, you have somebody that's going to take you to practice. You have somebody that's going to teach you. You have somebody keeping you on track, making sure you're making the right decisions. And without all of that, you just got somebody that's trying to find their place in the world. So now we move into being a DJ. You know, that's your day job essentially. That's what you do and you love it. You can do it in your sleep. Talk about a pivotal moment right there that has made you who you are.
Don't get me wrong, I started doing DJing while I was throughout college and hooping and basketball, but it's recently now turned into something that it's developed to something that I'm like this is no longer DJing. Like, I could, the whole time having this interview, if I was in the background, I could be DJing some music real gentle that goes with this interview that wouldn't interrupt us at all. Like, it's more of just like being that flavor in the background, or that ultimate outer level, and being able to actually see everything and take care of it. So I digress back to the pivotal point of me DJing and understanding that I'm not only DJing now, you know? So then I started having to change my environment of where I'm DJing at the party, what I'm being able to play, like what I want to play, and then also knowing that on the end that we're being taken care of. Because at the end of the day, you know, I used to DJ when I was 17, and it was very simple. You know, we put a text message out. Obviously, we were buying, you know, our own beverages, so we would charge people like $5, $10 at the door. You know, then why would you, if I'm like 17 and literally I'm making probably like $600 to like $900 a night off of just a house party, and I'm playing in somebody's club and they're only giving you like $150 an hour. Like, why does that make sense? Like, I understand the fact of bringing all these people to the party and having a good time. But now I'm like hell bent on DJing and making sure that's taken care of. Like I don't even want bouncers introducing their stuff the same because ultimately that reflects on me as a DJ as providing this music. Like
Mm-hmm.
seeing DJing and knowing that throughout this whole set I can change the way somebody like feels for the night, and like that is everything, you know. Soon as I realized that, that just changes. I got to take care of more as a DJ. I just can't play music. Like I can do that. That's nobody's gonna change that, but I have to do more with this, you know.
So is this why you've moved towards, I don't want to say smaller venues, but I'd say more, you move towards a smaller venue, but then you put on these more professional shows, such as the show at Metro Tribe.
You know, some people will call it niche. I say it's more people focused. I'm very kind of like very hell bent on satisfying people at a party. Like I want to give you exactly what you need. I want to put you in the right flavor. I want to put you in the right mood. Like, you know, there's bigger venues, but think about how quick they are to the masses. How do you feel in them? Like, you know, how do you feel in like those big venues?
And like a Metro,
Not even like a metro, just like say a big club where it's just like a big ass club that you don't know nobody downtown.
see,
The DJ. How do you feel in those places?
I used to like them when I was going to get fucked up. I don't go to get fucked up no more. I go because I'm trying to support one of the DJs that is there, or I'm trying to, make those business and network connections. But it's not to have fun no more. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
And my whole thing is like, how did the end of the night feel? Don't get me wrong. Everybody has their own problems. Somebody get a little bit too fucked up. Life hits you the wrong way at nights. But like when you generally go out and you have a good time and you know that the music was taken care of, you can remember those nights like more than the other ones. You remember the other ones, but you like try to block them out, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
That's a big role, and I think people should play to that. It's if you invite people to a space, you know, take care of that. But then also, if you are a bystander going to somebody's place, be respectful, and that's what makes a good time.
So then that leads into you being an event curator.
Facts.
You're an event curator, you're an event coordinator, you're all of it, right? You put on these huge festivals, Mas Flow, Michelada Fest, My House Music Fest. I know that's one of your personal favorites because you guys love house music. And I say you guys as in Los DSVLDS. So shout out you guys. As an event curator, what was that pivotal moment for you?
You know, shout out to the boys, Ghetto Division back in the days. I'm talking about like '07, '09, and climbing back-to-back sold-out shows at the Metro, Southside Shakedown, where we literally called it Southside Shakedown at the Metro and did some Southside things there. Ultimately developing some mad warehouse parties. I'm talking about with Paul Johnson. We had Diplo at a house party one time.
You had Diplo at a house party?
We used to call this spot Club Crib in Pilsen. I'm talking about every Friday and Saturday. We had speakers as big as washing machines, and we're DJing like on a table with a rack. Bro, talking about when Serato first came out, like we were busting through that like crazy. And from there, like me and my homies, we've always invited somebody that was a super hot DJ with our boys. Super hot DJ, like a homie that we look up to with our boys. If we had the bread, we'll go get somebody that we couldn't even think of imagining getting them. We got them, and I mean, that's as simple as the formula should be, bro. I think one thing you have to understand, like when coordinating or doing anything in life, coordinating your life per se, is like setting a boundary or a limit to what you actually can reach, you know? We've always did that and always gonna overreach, but realistically, there's a boundary. And it's phenomenal. Like it's even some people that I've booked years ago, like we're still like linking up. Like today, for example, I'm gonna have a meeting or more like a panel discussion soon with somebody that I DJ'd with back in the days. I'm talking about when I was like in 2010 with four, Brandon Brooks, Chance the Rapper's designer,
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Bro. At his party when he was linked up with his friend Juan, they had Ends Wealth Corp clothing brand. So my homie, he's now a newfound like lawyer that handles all the type of, business that we deal with as artists and labeling and, distribution.
He became the businessman.
Exactly, and he was a DJ. Like, and now we're gonna sit down and talk about, the importance of that, and also I'm gonna be able to, hopefully bring a Black Chicago house pioneer to the table who is also selling records and all that stuff, and literally shed light on that path so the people who are like, younger and want to know how it's done can now get on track the right way and, because somebody needs to do it. That's always been the thing of like event coordinating is that you will want somebody to put you in the right place, but there's only a few people like us who are willing to like, all right, let's do something nice. Let's do it. Let's do it right,
And I love that about you, man. You love to give the youth information. I know somebody that you've taken under your wing is Jay Santos, right? He speaks so highly of you all the time. And I love that dude because he's so humble. He's so humble and his energy is just, it's pure. He doesn't look to gain anything from you if he doesn't need it. So I appreciate you being such a good mentor for him.
I feel like it's a waste of time not to share knowledge because, man, life can go like that. And if you could have helped somebody, why would you keep it, yo? Like, we do that too much. This whole thing is turned into like a competition and it shouldn't be. Like, it should be like a sport, like basketball. You had your star player. That motherfucker didn't play he didn't play good every game. He wasn't getting numbers like that. And then he wasn't gonna be that star if that big man wasn't getting rebounds or that person wasn't doing that, So you revert back to that and it's a competition, but it should be a healthy competition of getting better and doing better, It shouldn't be like looking for somebody to do less. Like, so that's how we treat, like, that's how I am with my boys and when it comes to like DJing, like, is you doing that? I'll let you know if you, like, even if you're struggling, I'll let you know flat out what it is. I tell people a lot of time, you need to dance more. You felt like you didn't have a good set. Well, were you dancing? Well,
Well, one thing I want to ask you actually is why is it so important for you guys to highlight house music?
You go back to the beginning of this when you talk about b-boying. House was like one of the main, as a Chicago b-boy, house is definitely one of the main genres you were breaking to. It was hip-hop, break beats, soul, funk, and then house music, right up that ladder. And if you were like a dancer, then you go up, you get into like ghetto tech and right into footwork, and you come right back down, right around. So house music, just being able to remix one of your hip-hop songs and put it on the 4/4, and some tech sounds with it, and crazy. I mean, my first memories of house music was get in the backseat and listen to my mom. Like, I remember that she would play "Don't Be Cruel," and then like after that, you'll hear like "Follow Me, Come On" or something like that. And it was just like, even now, I'm like, man, these songs weren't that fall apart. Had like that type of bounce. "Don't be cruel, follow me," like it's, and I think the way that it's being represented right now is too quick. It's like, wham, bam, thank you, man. I'm like, nah, it's, do some more to it, bro. Put your flavor on it. Don't just take this sample from this. Like, put you on that. House music's so dope because it has so many faces. It's like, you could have a house record. Everybody in the world could have a house EP. Literally. And it would sound a bit different. It would be house music, but it would sound a bit different. And bringing that to light and showing the flavor, because it died down. Look at the venues. Look at, like, when it just started, like, coming back up. We've always did it, but it was considered underground.
I think that definitely is like a Pilsen staple, right? That's something that you'll hear anytime you go out into Pilsen, and it doesn't matter who the DJ is. Santos just had Drip and Inez over at Twisted, and house is something you'll hear definitely from Drip, and it's something you'll hear from Santos. I didn't stay long enough for Inez's set, so I can't say if I heard it, but it's definitely something you'll hear at Twisted no matter what.
Don't get me wrong, every DJ can play, all these genres, but when you truly like get into like house, it turns into like an instrument, If you, it turns into an instrument, bro. It's beyond just track and track. It's you got so many EQs and so many breaks to do with it. our main thing right now is to teach that, like to show that it's deeper than just like this hit song that just came out. Like that's cool, but like now
Mm.
see why people overseas are going crazy for it. See why there's this $1 billion, like why Cascade is making this much money, or see why like, you know, do you know who Honey Dijon is? Do you know who, you know, Mr. V is? Do you know who Terry Hunter is in your own city, and that he just got nominated for a Grammy for doing a record with Beyonce,
Mm.
and he played at our parties. You know, like it's with the reach is not out of there. You have to. We're just trying to bring that to light, and then the real beauty that I think comes from that is the birth of that new unfound champion that's like making good music like his way with the best attributes from legends and everybody else, and it's like this is it. This is the next thing.
You know what's so frustrating? Yeah, and I know you probably get it because since house is such a niche thing, right? When you're so knowledgeable about something and you're like, bro, this shit's lit, this shit is it. And then the next person just doesn't understand. You're trying to explain it to somebody, but when somebody doesn't understand how monumental it is for you, it's like, fuck, like, how do I get this person to care?
Being able to share the feeling, that's what we all have. Like everybody perceives things at a different time and place. Like, you know, the way you feel about house and I feel about house and versus everybody else is different because it's within like a time and place. For example, like when you heard this song, you literally probably was thinking of something else and like it didn't register versus this person like, yo, this was exactly what I was feeling right now. I was just about to take, you know, that sip, or I was just about to walk up to that girl and it hit. Boom, I love this fucking song. You
Mm.
know, it might take you a few more seconds for that to resonate.
You fall in love with the moment.
Yeah.
You fall in love with the moment and what it made you feel rather than the actual, you know, consistency of it. I just saw an old quote. It's like, you know, when you're in love with somebody, sometimes you're more in love with the memories of that person than you are with the actual person at this point in your life. And that was something that, man, I was going through my archives of posts that I saved. I'm like, damn, it's been Sad Boys for real since 2018. Like, damn, that shit was old.
Nah, don't get me wrong, bro. Behind all this stuff, it's mad sadness, man. I think I worked so hard just because of all that, you know? It's, you know, if you have the choice, you have the options to do a bit better, you know, stop being, just do it, man. It sucks because you like, that little, but it's better than not getting, or not creating your own sunshine or getting sunshine. Then you're gonna feel like depressed, bro. Like,
So then I gotta ask you, what do you feel like you're bearing that you're working so hard?
I don't want anything to go off the table. You know, I want to instill confidence in people. Uh, you know, confidence comes with like knowledge, putting that to practice, and now people can do it. You know, uh, I'm a person I'm very confident in what I can do. I got like mad options. I could think of something like that, and I kind of want more people to feel that way too, so they can lift the burden. You know, because there's always like you do feel like a burden of just carrying on things. Like it gets like that, bro. It's like you could call it a family thing or that, but you just know you have to hold up stuff. You know,
Mm.
and then it's like, if people are more knowledgeable about like time and they like step up, then when somebody actually doesn't fall through, it won't be like a big thing. You get me?
Mm.
You'll be understanding, like, oh yeah, let them take a break for a bit. He's cool, you know.
Mm.
Like sometimes you don't even get that, bro. People don't even see all of that because you're just putting out deliverables. Just boom. People just they want that now.
So do you feel like sometimes you're viewed as I guess it would be you're not viewed as a human with feelings, right?
Oh yeah. That gets. Think about it, man. It's just like when people, like for example, when people scroll down and they see your stuff, they only want to take a certain portion from it. They're not looking to be like fully invested in it. So per se, putting up like a certain portion of your problems is mad irrelevant. You know, I'd rather put up something that either at a point where they can help or that I can show them what has aspired after this. What have I learned from this? we all have problems, man. I mean, we have it in our feelings. So I think it's negative to reflect a certain part of that when you don't even know what the fuck's going on. Like, don't put that on somebody else. Like, unless you're seeking out in an attempt to relate.
Mm.
We do it a lot, and it comes out so wrong. It comes out in anger. It comes out like in get the fuck out the way. It comes out in so many other things, and it's like, chill, bro.
That goes hand in hand with really what the topic was supposed to be, right? You can't control everything. You can't control everything that goes wrong in your life. You can't control all the good things. You can only put in so much work to the point where you obtain what is within your reach. Everything else is, if it comes, it comes, right? If I don't even have an example, but it'd be like that. I wanted to go back a little bit, right?
Mhm.
When it comes to those phases in your life, I was scrolling through your Instagram. I was trying to find some shit, and I noticed that all your old pictures are dated by year now. The caption was edited to reflect the year. And all these years, they capture specific moments of your life, just like you said. Using these social media platforms, it's meant to create relationships and business. A lot of the times people just throw shit up there to throw shit up there, and they're not really intentional with the way that they're moving.
Mhm.
But being an event curator for you, it's something that you've been doing for a very long time. You've established a company with it, Grassroots Events.
So Grassroots Events was the prior company that me and my friend Fernando and the other our groups when we started Micha the first year.
Okay.
The one companies that I made up myself was Tribe, the house event. Like that's solely me. The other one I am like festivals, I'm solely co-founder of the name, the product itself, but ultimately like music director, event coordinator. So yeah, given that, I mean that was started off of that, but that has way more like moving parts in there, you know. I can control, I've only was able to control as far as like the lineup, the music output, people involved, like, you know, especially like from our city and the flow of that. Yeah. So as far as like the grassroots company that I've created, like for example, doing like an event at Metro, was Tribe. That's the one that's revolving around the house music and the fashion, you know, the live musicians, even like the artist tributes, world renowned like Chicago legend DJs. That's that's a company. Well, yeah. Continue with that. That's a company.
No, you
that
could
I'm-
keep going. You could have explained it.
Nah, yeah,
You could break it down.
with Tribe being as a production company, house music production company, it's getting people into it with house. Like house is fire, bro. All across the globe, from NY to Miami to LA down to Texas, up into Canada, Detroit. And it's hood, bro. It's hood. House is as hood as possible. don't get it twisted. House is hood. I cannot.
They might play it out in Europe, but you know where it started.
Bro, it's everywhere. It's the same everywhere, bro. It's hoods in Europe too, bro. Like everybody's not clocking checks, like, and that's where we make music, cause you know, like, it's a form of like release. You know, when you, I don't, what, how can I say this? I don't think a rich kid can make as good music as a poor kid.
As a hood kid.
You know what I'm saying? It's, don't get me, in a sort of context of like, I mean, you don't have much. This is all you have to, like, you know, just for example, you creating, you know, your podcast and your interviews from scratch and building versus like somebody creating like their DJ style and everything from scratch from the beginning. Like there's blueprints, but you can't follow those perfect, otherwise they won't stand out. You're always gonna remain in somebody like shadow. So dating back to like Tribe is something where it's a company that I want to take music and these events very professionally and tasteful, and I don't want to miss a step with like the community and everybody involved. I want to be very, you know, thorough. Like let's let's start giving people their flowers. Let's put people in the right positions. And then if somebody has something to say about it, we'll like tell them why. If you, I'm so open for questions. I want people to ask like why, why is this in there? Like, well, what do you have to bring to the table? You know, where's your acolytes? What have you done? Have you tried to get people to like to hear you? You know, like there's like no more excuses. Like,
Yeah.
trust me, because I've lived through them all myself. Like a DJ, I had a question earlier this week, and you know, from putting on the shows, one of our main organizers like, when is it going to be M-Dok's time, like to you know headline one of these?
Mm.
I gave him an answer, but you know that'll be on the next time.
Oh, for Tribe?
For just like city festivals in general.
Okay.
One year I did open up for the headliner because we had to unfortunately put somebody off the bill, but I ended up opening up before DJ Pierre. He's basically one of one of the founders of Acid House music. If you ever listen to like Acid House, it started from them. You know, so that was like in that tier, like that accolade. I can say that around the world, and it's recognized.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not big. It's not like oh Bad Bunny, all that, but it resonates. You know, and as you grow, that's what you want to do. You want things that resonate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in your own tier. We're not all going to be in the same lane, you know?
You want to create something that's relatable for everybody. You know, just like we were saying, it's the moment that's going to make people relate and the moment that's going to make people want to continue listening. I wanted to ask you about how your experience working with these music festivals has helped you learn the business behind the scenes, because being an event coordinator with them or a co-founder with them and understanding how you're running a music festival is a lot different from just performing. So for you being able to be behind the scenes, what are some major differences you've noticed between being just a performer and being behind the scenes?
You got to account for other people's time. You can't ask for work without taking that into consideration, because at the end of the day, everybody has like lives. Everybody needs to feed themselves. Everybody needs to rest. Like we're all like just humans in the back of the day. So you want to take care of more than you ever imagined. Just like you know, some people, they just have to show up, clock in. They don't have to worry about nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have to. But what if you have to worry about and make sure that clock-in machine works so all these people can file, and then you have to make sure that all these people register that so that their payments get in there. And it's like you're just working at a higher. It's a higher overview of things, and once you get that higher overview of things, when you get down to the minimum, you can work out all those little minor problems that you get in your day-to-day business. Like a lot of stuff that we do at small venues is so like unnecessary and so like unorganized. Like some of these festivals, bro, we organize very quick, and it's really like a couple days of like sitting down and actually talking and putting in work, not venturing off, like actual focus, thinking about what's gonna happen in the good scenarios and what's gonna happen in the bad scenarios, being ready for all the possibilities, and then issuing out the roles and day of, let's go.
Is dealing with the unexpected, right? Not being able to control everything. That was a major thing that, and I would like to highlight the good and the bad. I know Moss Flow, there was a lot of unexpected shit that happened, right? The weather, for one, it wasn't what it could have been. There were a few artist cancellations, obviously. So dealing with the punches and kind of continuing to grow, right? How do you feel like you guys handled it, and what did you learn from that experience?
I mean, handle it and still like handle it. We can't put it on people to understand how much these shows like actually cost, how much work that goes behind it, you know? It's like you're trying to create a super big business to be ran for like a certain amount of time and take care of it. But the main thing was the service. And like, I mean, some people saw somebody who they never thought they were going to see in their life up close, near their crib, something, you know, monumental for the culture. Like that event probably changed somebody's life forever. even though it wasn't like, like the good and the bad, but there's no mistakes, only lessons. Like, you bet that motherfucker's gonna get better after that. Everybody involved has gotten better from that. Like you have to, even from the good moments of, man, this was like my first performance, or this was like my first big festival working, or that you've obtained some type of knowledge because this is something that we haven't done ever. I can even think about the people who have worked Sueños. I'm pretty sure they feel the same way, and they're coming back for their next year. It's like, it's a job, bro. It's like, it's a job, but it's doing something you love, and it's being like organized. You have to prepare for the success of it, but also be in the range of the failures, taking that info and set yourself up for even better success the next time. Yeah, bro, it's worth it, but it's a long game. Like, people they see somebody famous, they're like, damn, LeBron killed it. I want to be LeBron this next day. It's not gonna happen.
They don't know what it took to get there. That's one of my favorite things to talk about, right? The journey. The journey is what makes you who you are, and it gets you to that point of when people actually see what's going on, they don't know all that work. Somebody I've been talking to a lot more recently, Jason from Private Stock.
Mhm.
He was like, I seen your product, and we were having an actual conversation. He's like, how did you get to this point? One day you just kind of popped up, and you kept popping up, and you kept popping up. And he didn't realize, the struggles and the growing pains that we had to have to get to the point where we are. And it's still not perfect. I'm
Mhm.
still hoping to continue to grow. I'm proud of where we are at this point, but there's always bigger things we can accomplish. So when it comes to that, understanding the journey and what it took for somebody to get there, it's much bigger than their current point. And that's why I love to have these interviews, right? Especially with the older people, because you have so much knowledge, you have so much wisdom that you're able to pass down, and maybe you could stop us from making a couple mistakes that you made.
I would gladly to. I want to, bro. That's why I talk to my younger DJs like all the time, like do it right, because it's a struggle, bro. It's a struggle if you're not taking care of the business. Like, you are out here doing a phenomenal job. People, they know you, they love you. Yo, I bet you if you put together all of those gross amounts of those venues, and you saw the allotted amount of money that they made, and you realize that you can't even get a little fair percentage of that, you're gonna start evaluating. And that's everybody in life. That's DJ is just one thing, but I could put that in multiple businesses. That's why it's like taking account of people's time and like their worth is so key. Some people, I mean, we just go by. Most people go by day to day and just like, all right, I'm content with this. But when it comes to something you've been doing like for years and years, and you got a whole overview, you you know how much value that has, and in the knowledge form, I'm gonna shed that. I'm like, yo, this is how much value you got. Don't let anybody else tell you that. If I can do it now, because I don't want to put nobody through something that we've been through that's like hardship. Like, why do that? There's no point for that. It's a waste of time.
Mm.
We should be looking to get better.
A lot of people view it as they gotta pay their dues.
I understand that, but it's just so ignorant because it's so easy not to. It's so easy to. Don't get me wrong, it's so easy to be like that, but I feel like it's more effort and like not to, because it's like you're literally, when somebody asks a question, you're like, avoid, and you're just like, you're.
I keep bringing up quotes, but you know how they say it's easier to forgive somebody than it is to be angry at them. Because to be angry at somebody, you gotta hold that, you gotta internalize it, and you gotta feel it every day. You gotta wake up and be like, I'm mad at this person, I don't want to talk to them. Whereas, I feel like human nature, time heals all wounds. So over time, you're just gonna realize, like, it is what it is. Let's keep it moving and not let it impact my day to day.
I mean, that's the truth, bro. Like, beyond DJing, man, I also train dogs, and I get into a lot of like behavioral like observation with them, and you just relate it to things, and it's very understandable. It's like, you know, action and reaction, like, cause and effect. You know, people only know what they know until they know, you know what I'm saying? And then you can understand why somebody moves or behave the way they behave. Like, think about what they currently have versus what they don't understand. The enlightenment really comes from a person be having the patience to realize that and then try to relate, and because that person doesn't understand. He's not from where you are.
Mm-hmm.
We don't experience things at the same time, you know what I'm saying?
What's that one thing you said about understanding the roots to? Do you know what I'm talking about?
That bears meaning to that same statement that I said. The root of once you know the root of everything, you know all, like, where something starts, then begins the knowledge. Like, it's written from that point.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing else that's gonna come from, that's gonna come before the form of the root. Uh, Relate that to any topic that you want to put when it comes to, like, DJing. Like, how does somebody get started to, like, DJing, and how did this person become world famous? There's a root to that journey. Um, there's a root to language as we know it, as we speak it. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
We skim. We want to know the ending of the story before we even understand where it actually came from and what's the purpose of it. You know what I'm saying?
All these problems that you faced with event planning, with anything that comes up in life, right? Specifically these festivals, how have you taken these lessons and applied it to your own events, such as Tribe, Friends of Friends? You have another one. It's the Saturdays con Sazon, right?
Yep, Saturday con Salson, and then I'm kicking off a new crazy, like, DJ show event with my homie Boy Genius. He's a world-renowned, award-winning turntablist, Midwest, Latin DJ of the year, all types of stuff, bro. But these
Shout
are
out Boy Genius.
most definitely. It's to like, open it up, man. It's to show people, like, okay, I go to Saturday con Salson, like, Saturday con Salson. If you heard all the music throughout that whole party, did it sound like a Saturday con Salson? Just don't get me wrong, you lost in the party, but we're in there. Boom, boom. Giving it people like a designated night. People like a product. They like to know what they're gonna get into. Um, and putting titles on the events and craft them in that manner reassures people, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a great ass time listening to house music tonight at Tribe. Oh man, I'm gonna have a great ass time at this brunch party that we're doing with, like, Los Velas on my birthday. You know what the vibe's like. These parties bring so many people together. When you have that overview, I'm seeing, like, the younger kids, the younger homies do that now and bringing all their crazy, like, events together, and you see how dope it is. You see how many interesting, like, characters come to those people. Like, man, that's what I'm. Out of all these events, I'm hoping to see that more and more and more.
This is crazy, especially the way that just like you said, the different crowds that are brought out to each different event and the feelings that are being brought to all these parties. Not every party is the same. Not everybody brings the same energy, the same vibes. So, creating something that's for everybody. Maybe your party doesn't fit this person's character, but this other party does. It's great that somebody else is doing that for that other person. So when we were talking, through text, you had mentioned that your energy is focused on, understanding people, understanding time, and there's a lot going on with you right now. Law of attraction, I think of making sure that you're attracting positive things into your life. You said that understanding why things happen and then letting it go.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you internalize it, when you focus on it, it just sits with you. It's not gonna do anything for you. In what ways have you applied this to your life recently?
So, for example, even recently, like, a person like me, I do too many things. Um, I get to a point a lot of times in my days where I have to really just organize and prioritize what's actually important versus something that I kind of want to do because I'm, like, doing too much, So being able to really kind of, like, brush it off and, like, just forgive yourself or just have patience, even with yourself. If you can have patience with yourself, you can have patience with many other people, you know? Um, for example, today I woke up, emergency dog training session, helped out my friend, had some music to organize, jumped into a meeting for the festivals, hop on a few texts for like other events, and then just understanding like, nah, I gotta put everything up, man. I got an interview. I just put everything down. Let me refocus and just. But I'm gonna get back to it. You know, just being able to. So for example, I could put that in relating to people. Say you're you're going to like the grocery store and you happen to bump into somebody and they're like, oh, and they're just like, oh, go out the way, and it's just like. Some people will take that a certain way and get into a fight or something like that. I'm gonna be like, oh, you good? Like I'm more like taking it light because I have more patience like when I'm out like in public per se. Like you have to, because I mean, that's where all the bad shit is gonna happen when people conflict and it's just they don't have time for each other and then that, you know?
Some of these things don't even make sense to be mad about. You know, when I go out with my homies and they get into a fight or they're trying to get into a fight with somebody, I'm like, bro, for what? At the end of the day, one of you is gonna get hurt. I don't know if it's gonna be the other person or you, but now we gotta take a side trip to the emergency room because you got cut or some dumb shit, right? And it didn't have to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, you could have walked away and said, oh, well, I had a good night. We had a couple drinks. Maybe you're too drunk. Even better reason to just go home because nothing good comes out of being angry.
In those moments, like our people ourselves, we don't take the time to be like, yo, like, I'm tripping. I don't need to do that. Like, it's like the options. Like, yo, take a break and look at your options and be cool, yo. Protect your energy. Like chill. Like, you know, like earlier I was like, man, I thought I was riding here and I'm like, man, I'm gonna run a little late. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna chill. Like, I'm gonna get there. Like, knowing when to do those in the moments probably can like save your life too. Because, you know, people get into accidents, people like just make mistakes when you're frustrated and you're not trying to like hear somebody. Miscommunication like crazy. Like you're mad and you read a straight text and somebody puts a cap on it on accident. You're gone. Boom. You like chill, bro. Chill. It's a lot of people out there like that. Yo, chill, bro.
Understanding the root, and then you can see everything else. Once you find the root of that issue, okay, let's fix it. Not everything has to be a larger battle. That's uh that's something I've been preaching a lot. You know, it's never that deep. You might be angry about it, but I'm not gonna stress about it because now you're angry, I'm angry. What's gonna come of it?
My friend Nez, like I saw him in the summer, you know, shout out to him. Dope dude. He random. I'm in the festival at Pilsen Fest, you know, he's like asking me, yo, how's it going? You know, how you been? And I'm like, man, I'm good, man. You know, I'm just trying to maintain. I'm trying to keep my head, keep organized, but I'm like busy as hell, you know? And he's like, bro, don't sound like that, bro. That's a good problem to have. You know, he's like, you know how privileged you are? And like that even like that humbled me some more. I was like, man, you know what? You're right. I'm a refrain from speaking in that manner as much as I can because, you know, some people don't have anything going on. And when some people don't know that you got going on, they be looking at you like, yo, what's up? Why you like, you know? So it's understanding. If both sides can understand, we could be in the middle and we're gonna always be cool.
So then, as one of the leading creatives in Chicago, right? You mentioned trying to learn from others. That's a big thing to say. You're you're up here, man. So sometimes, and maybe you don't view yourself like that. Maybe you do. But wanting to learn from others is a huge thing because not everybody's willing to do it. What are you hoping to gain from these other people, whether it's an artist, whether it's just somebody that you encounter on the street?
It's a small experience and it's a small lesson that you can take from somebody. Don't get me wrong, like as you're at like you can say like you're at the top, but you should always remain like a student because things like always changing. Like that top or that feeling is only like a moment unless you work and you built the foundation of it. But you know how you have like these one-hit wonders and everybody can just blow up like that. It can happen. And if you don't have a secure foundation under that, you're gonna fall. You're gonna fall very hard. So when learning off of like others, you can start to fill in little gaps of like refinement within self. You learn from other experience. Like everybody's not gonna do something perfect, and perfect is really only a point in time to a certain liking of somebody. It doesn't exist. So, going back to that, it's not gonna happen. So it's like I'm not gonna like beat myself up for something being too like on point. So learning from other people, man, it just allows you to know a lot. You got options. Like this person obviously enjoyed this because of some other reason, or man, how this person like get this style, or bro, how this person DJ for this amount of years, and why isn't he up here versus that? You learn how this person get up there that quick. Is be aware, don't be ignorant to thinking like, oh, something's only one way.
What's an important lesson that you've learned from somebody that you've carried with you?
Don't be in somebody else's shadow. Like that's one thing that we kind of mistake. And then don't get me wrong, everybody is like, oh, I want to do my own thing, but it's never really your own thing until you get to a mastery level per se of it. You're really like, life's a huge ass compliment, and that's what it's all ever gonna be. It's a huge compliment. We're here together. Ain't nobody's gonna be here like, oh man, I did this. Oh, I'm here solo on myself. No, you did that for all these people can look at it. Like, be truthful. Like, So it's like on the way up, let's all make this look good.
One last final question, man. I appreciate you, sliding, giving your time.
What's up?
And, it's been a dope conversation. What do you feel like you're missing at this point in your life, if anything?
I feel like we just got more work to do, man. We have to organize more. We have to be a little bit more purposeful.
Not we, though. You.
When I say we, it's ultimately me, too, because when you have people that are, like, looking up to you or, like, following you, it's you and them, too. Like, especially if you're a teacher, you can relate as a substitute teacher. Like, the better I get, the better everybody else. The more organized I can get with everything from, like, financial to structure, and being able to spread that ultimately helps, Just the thought of me thinking of, like, one of my homies don't have it in structure. Damn, do I got mine? Oh, I'm going to go get mine. It's all of that. So I'm going to continue refining and continuing to be organized, continuing to get more, like, well-versed and, like, take it up another level to help everybody else who are seeking that knowledge or that experience to then be able to do so. Somebody's taking the road before me, and every now and then I am being blessed with being able to meet these people or gain more knowledge also. And bro, we're gonna continue to do that. Like, I don't see why not, Everybody has their own path, but there's many different roads to get there.
Well, I hope to continue to see you make progress in what you're accomplishing. Oh, yeah. You guys got a lot of big shit coming up, and I'm excited to see the growth, especially with Tribe. I know that's your guys' passion project, so.
Good work. We're trying to bring the world to Chicago and then Chicago around the world.
Hell yeah. All right, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for sliding. That's going to be all, guys. Make sure you go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you go ahead and check out Tribe.
And every Thursday at the Giant Penny Whistle Tavern in Pilsen, we kicking worldwide house music, man. From the roots, soul, black, brown, tech, shit that bangs.
Everything. Everything.
It's good, man. It's good.
All right, guys. Make sure you go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Sad Boys for real. Peace out.
This is Sad Boy Radio.